is here. Our chief guest, Mr. Lakshmi Das sir, is also here, and our director sir is also here.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste. So, ma'am, please let us start, ma'am.
Yes, and our principal is also here. I request sister and principal to just come on board to keep the video on. I request Sister Vinita and Preeti Srinivasan and Dr. Lissy, principal.
Hello, Preeti ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, fine, sir. Thank you.
Fine. Good. Yes, ma'am.
So,
yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
Morning.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
Fine.
So, ma'am, please start.
yes.
We should be sharp on time. Everyone is here.
I think you can begin. Yes, you can begin. Snigdha is going to be our MC for today's program.
Yes, it is. All the floor is open to the students. Yeah.
A very warm welcome to everybody present here for the launch of the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center by the Department of English and Center for Research in association with Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, New Delhi. Through its activities, the center aims to create academic and discursive spaces where students, academicians, and public can come together to explore the principles of nonviolence and peace, and thereby to embrace a Gandhian way of life. Without much ado, let's move on to the formal function. I invite Ms. Anna Merin from 2nd BSc Zoology to sing the prayer.
Meaning. One who is a Vaishnava knows the pain of others, says good to others, without letting pride enter his mind. A Vaishnava tolerates and respects the entire world, does not speak ill of others, keeps his promises, actions and thoughts pure. Your mother is blessed indeed. Vaishnava sees everything equally, rejects greed and avarice, respects women as he respects his own mother. Though his tongue may tire, he will utter no untruth. He will utter no untruth, the property of others.
Thank you, Anna. I now invite our principal, Dr. Lizzie Matthew, to convey the welcome address.
Provincial Superior and Manager, Dr. Sister Vinita. Guest of Honor, Sri Deepankar Gandhian, Director, Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, or the GSDS. Keynote Speaker, Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu, Program Officer of GSDS. Us, former Chairman of the Village. Special guest, Mr. Anand Krishnamurthy, Faculty Member of Rajagiri College of Social Sciences. Dr. Lata Nair, Head of the English Department. Dr. Preeti Kumar, Associate Professor of the English Department and the Coordinator of this program. Dear Heads of Departments, student members, Ms. Maxine Maxi, Ms. Junika Jacob, Ms. Anna Marin, and Ms. Punya Pradeep, and all other student participants, good morning to all of you. It is indeed a joyful and proud occasion for all of us to join online to congratulate and share the happiness with the Department of English for a novel venture. The launch of the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center in association with Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, New Delhi. This is one of the special projects initiated by the English department towards the centenary of the institution in 2025. It is highly appreciated that the very objective of this program is to create an environment within the campus to share the Gandhian philosophy of non-violence as envisaged by the English department. The Gandhian philosophy is based on the concepts of Satya and Ahimsa, that is truth and non-violence. We all know for Gandhiji, truth is God, God is truth, and truth and God can be attained only by non-violence. St. Teresa's College has always stood strong, keeping up the Gandhian values by inculcating in the students and staff some of the great virtues of a father of our nation. In this context, let me bring to our mind the vision of our college as envisaged by the Reverend Foundress Mother Teresa of St. Rose of Lima, and also our beloved predecessors as facilitating creation of the civilization of love. It may be noted that the parallelism between our vision, that is the CSST vision, and Gandhian philosophy, our values is not accidental, but based on a common thread of service to humanity, based on compassion and unconditional love. Now coming to the duty vested on me, I welcome the dignitaries of the day. I am extremely happy to welcome our dear manager, Dr. Sister Vinita, who takes deep interest and insists to inculcate among the students and staff the Gandhian values through simplicity and love for nature as depicted through her own life. We have Dr. Sister Vinita, president of this function, her own department, to grace this occasion. And on behalf of all gathered online, I welcome you, dear Sister Vinita, to this momentous function. We are extremely honored to have amidst us a renowned personality, Sri Deepankar Gandhian, the director of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, a national memorial of Mahatma Gandhi, which is also the body of the Ministry of Culture. To introduce him, he is an officer of Jharkhand Administrative Service in the rank of Additional District Magistrate, working in GSDS on deputation. For his meritorious service, he was awarded with the Best Administrative Officer Award and Gandhi Vinoba Peace Prize. He is the most ideal person, I feel, to kickstart the launch of the center in the campus. With great respect and honor, I welcome you, sir, to this online gathering. Mr. Lakshmi Das is a senior Gandhian who has been the chairman of the Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Presently, he is an executive committee member of the GSDS and vice chairperson of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. Sir, I extend to you a most cordial welcome. We have amidst us Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu, who is the program officer of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti. He has done extensive work and research in areas of non-violent communication and several other Gandhian movements. With immense joy, I welcome you, sir, to this program. I also take this opportunity to welcome our special invitee, Mr. Anand Krishnamurthy, faculty of Rajagiri Social Science College. Welcome to you, Anand Krishnamurthy, sir, for your worthy presence to felicitate this event. Dr. Lata Nair, head of the English department, has taken great efforts in the envisioning and bringing into effect this novel idea. My deep sense of appreciation to you, Dr. Lata, for your great initiative in this venture that will open up several new turning points. Warm welcome to you, Dr. Lata. I am also happy to welcome Dr. Preeti Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of English, who is assigned as the coordinator of this Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center. With her right attitude and skill, she will definitely take the center to greater heights and soon let this grow to be a nodal center for disseminating knowledge of Gandhian thoughts, all sectors of the community. Welcome to you, Dr. Preeti Kumar. With great pleasure, I welcome all the department heads for sparing your valuable time and contributing this strength with your valuable presence. It is not only for the students of English department who are going to be the immediate beneficiaries. Instead, the whole student community of the college can be part of this. I request every head of the department present here to inform all the students of your department to be actively involved for this movement in the campus. Now, my dear student representatives of this inaugural ceremony and all other student participants, I'm glad to welcome all of you in this virtual platform to this august and auspicious function for the inauguration of Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center in our prestigious college. To my dear students, Gandhian philosophy and values are very meaningful and relevant in today's context. The world is seen to be polarized with diverse thinking, mutual mistrust, and possibility of eruption of violence at any moment. Also, man has been violent towards nature by way of unbridled exploitation with its disastrous consequences that we are experiencing now. I am sure this great initiative will help our students realize the real significance of Gandhian philosophy and values and to translate them into our daily lives and practices. Before I conclude, let me express our gratitude to all the esteemed officials of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, New Delhi, for associating with St. Teresa's College to launch this program. With your support, I believe we can go ahead to take up this project to greater heights towards spreading peace, the message of peace and harmony with our fellow beings, and also the values to protect our environment in a sustainable manner. My best wishes to this new and unique venture taken up by the Department of English. Congratulations and my best wishes once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite our manager, Reverend Dr. Sister Vinita, to deliver the presidential address.
I hope I am audible. Am I?
I think
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sister.
yes.
Sister. Yes.
Sister, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. You are not audible, sister. Hello.
Yes,
No.
yes, sister. Yes,
Yeah.
sister. Now you are audible.
Is it clear?
Yes,
Is it
not
clear?
very clear. Not very clear.
Yes, now.
I think it is better, sister. I think it is better.
Dear members of the Gandhi,
So, sister, not audible. Not audible.
No, sister, you are not audible, sister. But I think, sister,
Ma'am,
you leave, ma'am, you leave and then rejoin again.
ma'am,
I think that is.
sir, if your ma'am using a headphone, connect as a computer, sir, computer audio, sir. Ma'am,
Sister, there is a technical, I think you are asked to use the computer audio.
yeah.
I think you have to increase the volume of your computer audio.
Ma'am, I request to kindly remove your headphone, please.
Headphone, sister, you are asked to use the headphone.
Ma'am, if you are using a headphone, connect as a computer audio. I request you, ma'am. Hello?
Sister, if you are using your computer audio, then that will automatically increase your volume. Connect it to the headphone and then use the computer audio.
clear now?
Ah, yes,
No.
it is clear. Yes, yes.
Okay then. Dear respected members, these the members, the Shri Shankar, Shri Yan, Shri Vedabhya, and my dear students. Maybe it is raining very heavy here. Maybe that is the reason it's not very clear. And also coincidence taking place. Tomorrow, June 2015, the college completes 6 years. And we are stepping on to celebrate 100th year of its existence. St. Teresa's College has been offering education based on the principles of a civilization of love and excellence in education and in character formation. Is proud to announce that we have always stood by this practice of non-violence. We have just finished celebrating the 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. And it is fitting that St. Teresa's takes interest in starting a Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center in our college. And I'm happy to say that it is headed by the English department, of which I am and I was also part of. Dear members, when we reflect the principles of Mahatma Gandhi and his principle of non-violence and think about the Bible, me being a sister, the principle of non-violence reflects what Jesus Christ has said, that when, even if you don't take your friend or your brother a fool, you have acted violently. The attitude of everyone, should be a change. It is not when we act, it is not when we take a weapon or when we abuse another person, thinking wrongly about another person is violently to people into surrounding. To learn, I should say, practice is said in the attitudes. My dear students, you are lucky to be living at the particular time. We should say that when we look at the social media or the world around us, nature around us, it is such a fighting and also fear.
I think there is a bandwidth issue, ma'am.
At this juncture, it is fitting that each of us imbibe the spirit of Gandhi and become agents of propagation of nonviolence in our action. And I'm sure that taking today will enable each of us to practice what Gandhi has taught us. I am reminded of the three monkeys that he has visualized for each of us. Do not see, do not speak, do not hear. That is things that are not pleasant. We have to speak. I think and when we judge, my dear students, and I wish you all the best to continue the step that you have taken. Spirit of God in the world through our students to the world. May God bless every endeavor that you do. And this collaboration with the Gandhi Foundation and with St. Teresa's may grow.
I think there is a connectivity issue. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
will
because I think heavy
record her
rain.
speech. Yeah, heavy rain,
Yes.
and we will record her speech and send it to you, sir.
That's fine, fine, fine. So I think
So,
sister must have finished also because she was on the last stage. The last time I could hear her. Yeah, yeah. She must have finished. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So please go ahead, madam.
Snigdha, are you there, Snigdha? Kindly lead us on,
We'll move
Snigdha.
on.
Ritika, both of them are taking.
Thank you, sister. As Indians, the influence of Gandhiji in our life is inevitable. I welcome Ms. Maxine M. Maxey, a student of third year English literature, to deliver a speech on the impact Gandhiji has had in her life.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I'm audible and visible.
You are audible, Maxwell. Yes, you are audible.
Yes, Maxie.
Good,
Go ahead.
Yeah, Maxwell.
good afternoon, everyone. On this auspicious day of launching the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies at St. College, I would like to speak about the influence of Gandhiji in my life. As a school, Gandhi's ideology has influenced me to a great extent. More loyal and respectful to our nation and the prime nation builder. What do we primarily know about him? Yes, he is our nation leader, a freedom fighter, a revolutionary who brought about non-violent way of conflict resolution, a lawyer, and above all, father of our nation. In addition to this, each one of us is also aware that he was a peace lover, proponent of truth and non-violence. My history lessons taught me that he is the only nation leader who led the nation to independence through non-violence. His adoption of ahimsa made me ponder over the efficiency and the promising possibility of employing peace and non-violence in solving various problems. Ahimsa is the core value of Gandhian philosophy. Violence should not be used in achieving your goal. His 5 pillars of non-violence, respect, understanding, acceptance, appreciation, and compassion, are always basic to our existence. These are 5 simple habits, and if we start trying to nurture it, we could at least make a difference in one's own life and to the people around. I strongly believe that these 5 virtues should be held high in our society and instilled to our children during the phase of education. In this world where we adopt and wish ways goal, I always think about how he applied the theory of if peace, truth, and ahimsa would thrive in such an state. Second, we'll talk about Gandhiji's staunch belief in truth. In fact, the naming of his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, reflects his lifelong observance and experimentation with truth. As youth, we definitely must have experiences where we try to look up certain stories so I find out wrongly. And what happens? We end up realizing a universally known fact that truth prevails. Next, let me bring in his notion of Swachhata. I used to enjoy Gandhi Jayanti and the cleanliness of my activity. Cleanliness drives often find space only on certain days. Quoting Gandhiji's wordings on Swachhata, Swachhata is more important than freedom. I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. Everyone must be his own scavenger, I unquote. However, these ideas are still unfulfilled. Vision of a Mahatma has to be grown beyond the observance of his birthday. I realize how significant it is to keep yourself and your physical surroundings clean. The deadly virus has taught us how vital it is to observe cleanliness. Finally, I hereby throw light to this philosophy of Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya is a Sanskrit term which means universal uplift or progress of all. He strongly favored the emancipation of women and urged them to fight for self-development. A wife is not a slave of the husband, stated Gandhiji, but his comrade, colleague, friend, and better half. As he stated, I firmly believe that the education that I received will make me financially independent and thus aid in eliminating environment. Let us share my thoughts on the importance of sustainable life. Sustainable development means to fulfill the present needs without compromising the future. His words, his way of living is the best example of sustainable development for the world. In his words, the principles of Gandhian holistic view of the world and his principles of deep ecology can be used as guiding principles for finding solutions for a new eco-friendly world order. Today, the Department of English and Center for Research of our college is about to launch the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center. We pledge to propagate his ideals and create awareness on the importance and relevance of Gandhiji in this contemporary world. His sense of sustainable living, environmental protection, and standing up for what you believe in can be practiced on an individual and institutional level. Non-violent verbal communication shall be followed in the campus henceforth. Our vision is to inculcate the values of Mahatma Gandhi to shape our students' attitude and approach to their fellow beings and nature. I conclude with this most noteworthy message which continues to guide mankind. My life is my message. Thank you all.
Thank you, Macklin. Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu is the Program Officer of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti. He has done extensive work and research in areas of nonviolent communication, peace and conflict resolution, media and information literacy, and volunteerism. He has been giving lectures and conducting workshops in these areas for both institutions in India and abroad. I invite Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu to deliver the keynote address.
So I think you're muted.
Yeah. Good morning to everyone. At the outset, it has been a wonderful thing that we are able to collaborate St. Teresa's College and Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti in this whole endeavor to take up this Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center. I really thank our chief guest, Sri Lakshmi Das sir, who is also our executive committee member, for giving his precious time to us. I thank Sister Vinita for giving such a speech, though we could hear her only partially at phases. I thank the principal, Madam Lizzie Matthew, who was very profound in her statement on how she visualizes this center. Thanks to Maxline for her wonderful speech on how she sees Gandhi. Thank you, Madam Lata, because she has been the person who has taken the lead, and we have been talking and trying to put together this whole initiative. And without your, spirit and enthusiasm and encouragement, I think the center would not have taken place. Also, thanks to Preeti ma'am she will be in charge of this Gandhi Study Center. Also, most importantly, thanks to Anand, because without him, we would not have met the St. Teresa School and Lata ma'am and every one of you. So it is a wonderful occasion that we are able to come together and try to promote the life message of Mahatma Gandhi. And I will share with you very briefly a small slide on what I feel, because what I'm going to talk is what I feel could be the activities of the Gandhi Study Center, and then we have our very, very senior Gandhian, Sri Lakshmi Das sir, who can give his valuable inputs and guidance to all of us, so that we can make it more constructive in nature, the whole center. So I would like to start my screen. Is the screen visible, please?
Yes, sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So to start with, the most important aspect of peace, when we are talking of peace and non-violence, the world will live in peace only when individuals composing it make up their minds to do so, Mahatma Gandhi. So that means we as individuals have that enormous responsibility of actually working and acting to contribute to this whole culture of peace. If individuals don't do, then there cannot be peace. In that context, we have this very important idea of peace from UNESCO. Peace should never be taken for granted. It is an ongoing process, a long-term goal which requires constant engineering, vigilance, and active participation by all individuals. It is a choice to be made on each situation, an everyday life decision to engage in sincere dialogue with other individuals and communities, whether they live a block or a click away. So I request everyone to look at this whole statement very, very seriously, very minutely. Like, peace is not something where we do some, pasting work and there is some conflict, something, so we just do cut paste work and try to ensure that there is peace. No, it is not like that. It is a dynamic process. It's a long-term process. It's an ongoing process. And also, as it says, it requires constant engineering, vigilance, and active participation of all individuals. Also, if you see an important aspect, how each one of us need to engage in dialogues, deep dialogues. In fact, the whole art of dialogue seems to be missing today, and that is why it is so important. And with all the individuals and the communities. So, friends, when we are talking of Gandhian peace and non-violence study circle, we have to keep in mind the different dimensions of peace. Peace is not just the absence of violence. Peace is a more complex, it is a bigger perspective that we need to look at. Also, peace needs to be looked at from the point of view of those three different aspects of violence, which one of the father of the peace research, who is called Johann Galtung, said: the structural, the direct violence, structural violence, and the cultural violence, and how peace can be promoted and encouraged in the context of negotiating the problems and the issues raised through these three types of violence. In fact, as I said, peace is a continuous process and a journey of discovery. It requires constant reviewing and updating based on changing realities on the ground and the specific time and context. So in that context, I feel that all the students and all the faculties who are going to be involved in this Gandhi Peace and Nonviolence Studies Circle, we will have some interesting discourses and dialogues on the nature of peace and how, like, we have the sustainable peace, the the peace which is long-term aspect of peace, the different dimensions of peace, promotion of peace education in the classroom situations. So these are the different ways, different things that we can think of when we are talking of this Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Center. In fact, Gandhi spoke about the everyday violence ingrained in the very structure. I was telling you about Johann Galton's structural violence, but Gandhi talks about the everyday violence ingrained in the very structure of society and believed in the possibility of creating peace in the course of transforming unjust relationships, transcending structural conflicts through non-violent confrontation. So how we can look at the whole issue of violence, whether those are direct violence, structural violence, or the cultural violence, and what kind of action that we can take to ensure that we get over with it and promote a non-violent approach to resolving those conflicts. So we will all be looking at various possibilities through these discourses, through various academic programs and lectures when we start this particular center. So already Maxine has given a good idea of the Gandhian pillars of non-violence, and this, I think these are the very, very simple things which we can follow in our daily lives. That is respect, understanding, acceptance, appreciation, and compassion. In fact, when we have our workshop on non-violent communication, as we discussed with Lata ma'am, then I will expand it and elaborate it in a bigger way. So that is going to be there. And here now I come in the last few slides on what are the possible initiatives the center could do. What I feel is that the center should provide a mixture of academic and practical activities, the Gandhian constructive work, reaching out to the community near the vicinity of the college and trying to take up some activities, say local peace building work and all, which I will tell you further. The center could strive to promote among students a critical thinking ability in the context of peace and non-violence. We need to think in a rational way. We need to think in a very critical way. There needs to be some critical reflection on how we can contribute towards a culture of peace and non-violence. And hence, the aim should be to promote an exploratory, analytical, and experiential methods to understand the different dimensions of peace and non-violence. So possibly when we have a smaller meeting, possibly with Preeti ma'am and Lata ma'am and some of the student representatives, we can discuss them. As I shared when we were having a small meeting with all of you, my own experience of working with other Ghanaian study centers, like say in the Tripura University, and now recently with the Miranda House in New Delhi, this Miranda College here in New Delhi. So we need to locate various interesting avenues on which our students of the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center can contribute to the societal transformation, to the society at large. I can give you the example of this Miranda House students. They had actually taken up a big effort to promote, to work during this whole pandemic. In the last 2-3 months during the second wave, they were trying to help people with oxygen concentrators, cylinders, trying to link people with the hospitals and various other avenues. So these are certain concrete constructive activities that the students can do. Of course, that also that has to be taken up with some good academic work so that the students gain in knowledge. Because the center, the idea, my vision of the center is how we can help students to connect to knowledge which is outside their curriculum, help connect with knowledge which is transformative in nature at this stage, so promote transformational learning experience, transformational leadership experience amongst the students through this center. And also possibly we could initiate some small research, possibly some action research, initiate the practical activities in communities as action research, because through action research we can understand different issues in our society, different aspects of the society. So these could be some of the ideas we can further brainstorm in that. In the initial stage, possibly what we can do is, as I had mentioned, that we have a very successful program. In fact, Anand's college recently translated the course on nonviolent communication into Malayalam. So the students who are interested to take up in Malayalam, they can do. What I would suggest is, if in fact we have already finalized with one of the local state universities here in Uttar Pradesh, they're introducing this non-violent communication as a paper both at graduation and the post-graduation level. So possibly as a paper in the college, if we can identify, if we can explore that, we have I've got the syllabus which was shared with that university. Also, most importantly, is that to ensure that this has a continuous traction amongst the students. From Gandhi Smriti point of view, of course, we can have one workshop, but for continuous engagement with the students, I feel that we can do a faculty development program on this particular aspect of nonviolent communication, so that what we can do is have a master trainers amongst your faculty members, and though they can in turn, go and have trainings of other students in other colleges also of Kerala. So that is very, very important to promote and encourage more and more people who can be into this, taking and giving lectures and taking training on conducting training on nonviolent communication. Madam, also we have this very interesting, besides this nonviolent communication, course on, we have an online course on strategies of conflict resolution in classrooms. And in fact, we have been training teachers in batches on conflict resolution in classrooms and in the context of a peaceful educational institution. So that also we can have have some sessions and some work with the students. We have recently initiated a community and peer mediation program. In fact, Lakshmi Das in our also member of our program committee, and he had underlined that as this is the 75th anniversary of India's independence, Gandhi Smriti should take up this community and peer mediation program in right earnest. So we can have a training program of some of your interested students, and we can locate a particular community within the college area, and we can experiment with an action research in the community settings, community mediation program. We are in the process of developing a course on the online course on community mediation, which will be possibly we will be able to finalize it by by July. So the students could take it up in that way. Of course, then peer mediation. Peer mediation we are doing both for schools and colleges, and so we could have some session with your students on peer mediation, and we can develop a whole team of peer mediators in your college. So that is something very interesting that can have. Then of course we can take up some programs related to sustainable and transformational leadership development programs, because that's something very important to promote leadership according to the Gandhian ethics and Gandhian ideas amongst the students, because that is the need of the hour. Also, my own experience recently, we had with one of the universities of Bangladesh, they put up a virtual exhibition that was really very good on nonviolent communication. So possibly as a run up to the 2nd October, if your students as part of this center could take up different dimensions of peace and nonviolence and set up a virtual exhibition. And also possibly a virtual exhibition by students on the 75th birth anniversary of 75th, I made it wrong, 75th anniversary of India's independence. So that can be also be done. In fact, our all our colleagues will get in touch with you, with your team, and we can work further on that. It could be very interesting if we can develop a virtual exhibition by students on the 75th anniversary of India's independence. And then, of course, we can organize various dialogues and discourses and promote our students to take up the whole idea of this center should be to encourage students to develop greater understanding of peace and non-violence, develop amongst them leadership to take up mediation, leadership, transformational leadership values that needs to be there, so that because many of them will go and take up leadership position in life. So we need to develop that kind of leadership values amongst all the students. That should be one of the overarching goals of the center, of the study center. And so this is all I thought I should share with you, because and then of course we will work further on this. And again, thanks to the entire college and entire faculty members and the students that they decided to come together with Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti and take up this novel endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Ms. Junaika Mary Jacob, a second-year English literature student, to pay a heartfelt homage to Gandhiji through the rendition of a poem.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, Junaika.
Yes, Junaika. Yes, Junaika.
Good morning, one and all. Today, I am here to recite a poem named Ende Gurunathan by Valathol Narayana Menon. This is a poem written with great admiration and awe that the poet has for Gandhiji. And he says that we, the rest of humanity, would immensely benefit learning from him. The poem goes like, ലോകമേ തറവാട് തനിക്കീ ചെടികളും പുൽകളും പുഴുക്കളും കൂടി തൻ കുടുംബക്കാർ ത്യാഗമെന്നത് താഴ്മതാന യോഗവിത്വം ഗുരുനാഥൻ താരകമണിമാല ചാർത്തിയാലതും കൊള്ളാം കാരണിച്ചെടി വീട് പുരണ്ടാലതും കൊള്ളാം സംഘം സമസ്വച്ഛമല്ല വിഹായ സവണ്ണമിൻ ഗുരുനാഥൻ ദുർജന്തുവിഹീനമാം ദുർലഭതീർത്ഥഹൃദം സജ്ജലോൽഗമമില്ലാത്തൊരു മംഗളദീപം പാമ്പുകൾ മാണിക്യമഹാനി പാഴ്നിഴലുണ്ടാകാത്ത പൂനിലാവിൻ ആചാര്യൻ ശസ്ത്രമിന്നിയേ ധർമ്മസങ്കരം നടത്തുന്നോൻ പുസ്തകമിന്നിയേ പുണ്യാധ്യാപനം പുലർത്തുന്നോൻ ഔഷധമന്യേ രോഗം ശമിപ്പ ഹിംസാദോഷമന്യേ ജീവവൻ ആചാര്യൻ. Thank you.
Thank you, Junaika. Mr. Dipankar Shrigyan is the director of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti. He's an officer of Jharkhand Administrative Service who has served the Council of Advancement of People's Action and Rural Technology for 5 years. He's awarded with the Best Administrative Officer Award and Gandhi Vinobha Peace Award. I invite Mr. Dipankar Shrigyan, our guest of honor, to address the gathering.
Good morning to all. Director sir cannot join us due to poor internet connectivity issues, sir.
Pankaj, I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir has joined. Sir has been able to, because there was serious problem in the connectivity.
Yeah, we are facing serious issues with our connectivity, so I'm sorry for that.
गाड़ी आई है?
I'm audible now, Pankaj?
Yes, sir.
Please keep your video off so that we don't have any problem in the audio.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. A very warm welcome on behalf of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti to this program. Honorable Lakshmidas sir, respected Liji Matthew, the principal of the college, Dr. Selin, Ms. Maxi, Dr. Lata, Dr. Arvind, Preeti, all the teachers and students, and particularly I am considering three students, Ms. Junika, Ms. Anna, and Ms. Pradeep. What a coincidence today that we are going to launch a center of Gandhian peace and non-violence studies at a college which is named after the great lady Saint Teresa. I think both of them are committed for the same objective. Gandhi was committed for his peace, non-violence, and Saint Teresa was also committed for universal love, affection, peace. So the bondage is very strong in the very beginning. With this strong bondage, I'm sure that the center which we are starting today must excel in all fields of propagating the idea of both the great personality of the world. Dr. Kundu rightly told that absence of violence is not non-violence. Non-violence is some inherent quality of a human being. But sometimes we lose that during the impulse. So non-violence is basically an impulse. How to control that impulse is a great challenge for all the human beings because it is very difficult to control that during the period of heat. But through this center, what we are planning, what we are in mind, how we can inculcate the non-violent activities, the non-violent communication, and non-violence never means it is a physical violence. It is a mental violence, controlling the mental violence, controlling the environmental violence, controlling any kind of violence in ourselves or in others. Kochi is again very famous for other regions also. A very beautiful place, a seat of great Sanatan Hindu Dharma leader, a seat of history. So what I am seeing today is history going to create with a mutual understanding of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti as well as St. Teresa College. And unless until we are having the non-violent behavior in ourselves, we can't attain peace because peace is the ultimate goal for every living being. For what we work, for what we do anything, for what we try to do anything, whatever in our life, it's the ultimate goal is to attain peace. And if a peace even comes through violence, that is not a perfect peace. We have seen it in our history that Ashoka, even if fought a very great battle at Kalinga, even conquered Kalinga, but there was no peace until he yielded to it. So non-violence is the important tool for attaining peace. Dr. Kundu has already explained what are the scope of this study center. My only suggestion to Dr. Kundu and the college is that we are having so many study centers throughout the country. So we must have a networking also for all those centers so that what is going new in any center may be replicated in other center. And through that networking, we can reach the last man of the society for inculcating non-violence and attaining the peace. I'm thankful to the English department of the college, the principal of the college, the management of the college, and the faculties of the college who have taken serious pain to launch this course today. I am sure that under their able guidance and leadership, this center will excel in all the sense and will fulfill the ideas and philosophy of Saint Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let us now indulge in a melodious tribute to Gandhiji with a song by second-year English literature student, Miss Punya Pradeep.
Are you there, Punya?
Are you there?
Ma'am, Punya's video is recorded one, so it has to be.
Okay. Yes, Pankaj.
Yes, sir.
So now, this was the video which they shared because their connectivity is poor. So please play that video.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम 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 भज प्यारे तू सीताराम 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 भज प्यारे तू सीताराम ईश्वर तेरे नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम.
Yes.
I'm your mom.
She can't.
Thank you, Punya. Mr. Lakshmi Das is a senior Gandhian and the former chairman of the Khadi and Village Industries Commission. He's an executive member of Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti and vice chairperson of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. I invite Mr. Lakshmi Das, our chief guest, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Pradeep. My colleague, esteemed colleague, Shri Deepankar, Shri Gyan, Shri Ved Vyas ji, then Vinita ji, Lata ji, and all other dignitaries who are part of this inaugural function. First of all, let me express my good few words for two beautifully sung Vaishnav Janto Tene Kahiye and Raghupati Raghav Rajaram. Special appreciation there. These two bhajans are sung very well. That doesn't mean that others who spoke do not deserve any appreciation. But this is for the small children I had, so I spoke. Some 40 years back, little more, maybe 50 years back, my initial days in Sarvodaya movement, I was working with a nuclear scientist turned Gandhian in the northern part of India. He used to say, Dr. Dayanidhi Patnaik, for some time, he was the head of the Utkal University, and he had about 100 papers in his credit on nuclear. But all of a sudden, he left the job with the thinking. He used to tell the masses that this science has brought the whole world very near. We can listen anybody within seconds. We can reach anybody within hours. We can plan our lunch and dinner in the whole world. Since this science has brought whole nation, whole world, whole globe very near to each other, our responsibilities has been more, because when science has given us so much opportunities, these opportunities also has been or being utilized to create a weaponry to kill the humanity. I was talking to a very senior scientist. Just as a matter of joke, I told that you have been working for the nuclear weaponry. Now, can you speak some certain things on humanity? We were very good friends. He said, we are not working only for weaponry. This weaponry is also a deterrent to maintain peace. This is also an argument. So what I say is that both the sides of the coin has its argument in its favor. We are to find one. So that Dr. Patnaki used to tell that we are to decide whether to use this science for the promotion of the humanity, whether we are to use this nuclear energy to promote the drudgery of the society from the society, to fight corona-like things. At that time, corona name thing was not there, but then I'm just telling you that can we fight corona with the nuclear energy or use of nuclear energy, or we are only to make it just a deterrent which has the potential of threatening the humanity. But it was somewhere in 50 years back, For the last 50 years, I have been working for the peace and non-violence in the society. I am yet to cross any argument which convinces me in favor of violence, in favor of war. Yes, as I have told you, that both the sides of the coin has its contribution, had its merit, demerit. But we have to think and see the things in totality. Segmented approach may be or may look like helping, but ultimately it is only to approach in totality which we'll have to see. I am very happy that this old college, now university, 100 years I am told, this college is completing 100 years, grown to the university. The nation is celebrating 75th Independence Day, and the college authority has decided to establish a Peace for Peace and Center for Peace and Non-Violence. I congratulate the authorities. I appreciate the authorities for this initiative. I have to just suggest one thing. It is, as a Gandhian, I will always welcome any sportive move for Gandhian movement. I have been working for this movement. And if there is a word for this appreciation of this movement, I will be very happy. But at the same time, I just want to say that only appreciation will not do. Anybody who is the follower of anybody will go on appreciating. What is new? What is important? What is great in that? If I am supporting a cause which is very dear to me, what is great in that? So what I say is that while supporting this efforts of non-violence and peace, we should study Gandhi deeply and critically. The center, which will now come into existence from today itself, please make it a center of critical analysis of Gandhian movement. Minus Gandhian ideology, Gandhi is a very small human being. He became great while he was blended with the Gandhian ideology. What is this Gandhian ideology? Its roots are deep in our ancient Gandhian, in ancient days. Its roots are deep into our culture, cultural heritage. It has its own new things also. Gandhi also has contributed. Gandhi now has come up, as some girl was telling, that cannot, I think Vinita ji told this, truth cannot be achieved without non-violence. It is true. If I am asked what is the great thing Gandhi has done to the world, I will say non-violence and truth. But then There are people, there are arguments against non-violence, against truth. So shall we say that those who are against truth have no right? No, that is not Gandhian. That is not Gandhian approach. That is not Gandhian movement. Gandhi is one great leader who appreciated the critics. Not only that, he loved to talk to them. And I know one story, very interesting story about Sundarlal ji. He went to Gandhiji and told him with his all wisdom that the way you are trying to bring independence to the country is not a solution. This force, the British rule, there is no sunset in the British rule. It is not possible to bring freedom with only non-violence and this or that, this or that. Gandhi listened and listened. Sundarlal ji left the place. After some 1 year, again Sundarlal ji went and same topic discussed with Gandhiji. Then Gandhiji told him, you came on your own, but you will go only when I allow you. Sundarlal ji remained there. He had long discussions with Gandhi. And when he concluded, he was fully convinced that it is only Gandhian way which can bring the peace in the world. It is not only freedom. It is the freedom from all other things which I don't want to discuss here, which I will not discuss here. I don't have time. So Gandhiji used to listen his critics. Gandhiji used to listen. You know, people must be knowing that there were about 7 attacks on Gandhi's life. Did he ever made a complaint to any authority? Rather, when he came to know somebody who was with a knife and Gandhi realized, he took him along with and discussed with him. So what I expect from this center is that you choose a subject and critically analyze. Gandhi has followers, no doubt. Otherwise, Gandhi has followers in the world. Gandhi has now come to stay. Gandhi's existence is not questionable. What I want to say or what I expect from this center is that you choose non-violence and let the people, let the students, let the scholars, let the studious persons who have studied violence and non-violence both, let them argue. There will be healthy debate. And if it is found that violence is more important than the violence, then I would request that I may also be made part of that discussion at that level. When I say that I welcome Gandhian critics, that doesn't mean that I am against Gandhi. I'm sure, 100% sure that whosoever speaks about Gandhi, criticizes Gandhian philosophy, criticizes Gandhian ideology, if have a true picture of what has happened and what he has said about the particular thing, I'm sure that the truth will be revealed. Therefore, I am always, whenever I am given to opportunity to speak, especially in the youth, I told them and I tell them, please study Gandhi. He has written so many things. He has touched every part of the life. the society. Talk of women, talk of students, talk of poverty, talk of economic policy, whatever you may call it. Gandhi is there. If we are talking of Gandhi, and if Gandhi is not answerable, or Gandhi's ideology is cannot answer to the problems of the world, then how can we say Gandhi as a father of the nation? How can we say that Gandhi stands for non-violence? How can UNO say that Gandhi's birthday should be celebrated as non-violence day? Gandhi must have solution of the problems being faced by the world. So that can be, when there is a discussion, there is a healthy discussion. People sit together, discuss for and against. Sometimes, yes, argument for the sake of argument, I don't discuss that issue. First, argument for the sake of argument, मैंने इसको हरा दिया, उसने मुझे जिता दिया. That's a different story. What I say is that with the good motive and the situation the world is facing, I'm told, we read in the papers, and that the weaponry, the kind of weaponry is available in the world, the nuclear weaponry, this world can be finished 7 times, 10 times, 12 times. Do we want to go with that? Or, as UNO has said, that Gandhi's birthday should be celebrated as non-violence day, we are to find out some solution in Gandhian way. I don't say that it is only Gandhi who has said about non-violence. If we list out, there are thousands and thousands. But Gandhi is a leading personality in that. Gandhi sacrificed his life to protect and promote the non-violence, peace and non-violence in the world. That is what the world has now realized, that it is only non-violence and peace which can bring the nation, the globe, to a position where they can live. I tell you, friends, everybody has right to live. And those who try to take away the right of living are not doing any good thing to the society. Therefore, Christ has said, love your enemy. And Gandhi has said that I have no enemy. Both are, with their argument, are the great personalities. One says, love your enemy. The other says, I have no enemy. If that height we are to achieve, then we have to work accordingly. Not only that, if I want to say it otherwise, other way around, if we want to achieve the world peace, then we have to practice love your enemy, and I have no enemy. Dear friends, I don't know how much time I'm to take. I don't want to take more of your time, because I didn't know how much time I am to encroach to your lunch and other activities. But if this center comes out with a critically analyzing Gandhiji's non-violence and truth, it will be a great service to the society. Yes, as I have heard your speeches, young girl was telling the impact of Gandhi on her life. Yes. The true good things are always said in a meeting. But if you criticize Gandhi, critically analyze Gandhi, and then the audience come to the conclusion that the argument in favor of non-violence is much more powerful than the argument in favor of violence, please go ahead with that. Everybody has to criticize or critically analyze Gandhian philosophy. It is not only non-violence. It is not only truth. Gandhi has said, I cannot see a man exploiting a man. Do we feel that with exploitation, we can have peace? With exploitation, we can have non-violent society? No. So, a number of things has been said. Number of things has been practiced by Gandhi. And with his humble approach, he used to say, I'm not giving new thing to the society. I have whatever there is, whatever is available, I have just collected and sharing with the people. So, my dear friends, special congratulations for the authority of this college for initiating this new study circle in the activities, that busy schedule of the college, of the university. And whenever some critical analysis type of program is organized, and if I get the opportunity, I am also a little busy here and there, but if I get the opportunity, I would love to listen what the people say. Because whenever I discuss, people say so many things about Gandhi. Good things also, bad things also. But whenever I discuss the reality, people come around. That is the beauty of Gandhian ideology. It is not that this Gandhian ideology is living in isolation or in a limited circle. It is open to the public. So it should be studied deeply, critically analyzed, and we should come out with a theme where we can say that non-violent and peace can be achieved through Gandhian ideology. We can have a society, exploitationless society, through Gandhian ideology. Once again, I congratulate the college, the university. I congratulate Gandhi Smriti Darshan Samiti. They are my colleagues. We are working together. I congratulate Gandhi Smriti Darshan Samiti. During these Corona days, it is very difficult to communicate with the people. But with the use of technology, they are making best efforts, and we could reach to the people. We are reaching to the people. I congratulate the person who are responsible for this, especially director who has under whose guidance the full team is working. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the principal. Thanks to the founder, and thanks to everybody who are participating and give me opportunity to talk to you about Gandhi, his non-violence and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Anand Krishnamurthy, Assistant Professor of the Department of English, Rajagiri College of Social Sciences, for the felicitation.
Thank you. Sri Dibangar Sri Gyan Ji, Dr. Vedabhyas Kundu, Lakshmi Das Ji, Dr. Sister Vinita, Dr. Lizzie, Dr. Lada, Dr. Preeti, the student members who participated, and all the Teresians out there. Good afternoon to all of you. I'd like to, I'm sorry, there's a technical issue from my side. Okay, so I'd like to keep my words short, to the point, and precise. First of all, congratulations to all of you for the efforts for the novel concept of bringing in a Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Study Center. And the inaugural session today has been a huge success with a whooping close to 200 participants. And the efforts taken by the students are indeed praiseworthy. The efforts taken by Punya, by I'm sorry, I'm just a bit short in your names. Yeah, the efforts taken by Maxlin, by Juneka, by Punya are all praiseworthy. Also, those who are behind the screen, congratulations to all of you. The dignitaries here have all addressed regarding the contemporary significance of Gandhi in the modern era. So I'll not delve deep into that, but very shortly, I'd like to talk about a course, or rather courses offered by the Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti under Professor Dr. Vedavyas Kundu. Apart from being a program officer, he is the person who has compiled quite a few courses, insightful courses on Gandhian thought and nonviolence. And of that, one course that came to my attention last September is a certificate course on nonviolent communication, which later, due to our associations with Kunduji and GSDS, Rajagiri College of Social Sciences, me along with my colleague, Professor Shisha, were able to translate into Malayalam as Ahimsatmaga Ashaya Vinimaya. So the course is available online in the GSDS website, the Gandhi Smriti Darshan website. The course is available in 4 languages, if I remember correctly. It's available in English, Malayalam, Hindi, and Tamil as of now, and I think a Manipuri variant is coming soon. And the English version would be more appealing to you because there is barely 34 pages, and there is no examination or anything. All it has is 7 assignment questions, practical questions, where you are required to write not less than 100 words. So I'm sure you will have a great experience if you try any of these courses. Apart from certificate course on nonviolent communication, there is a course on peace and conflict resolution. There is a faculty development program organized or compiled by Dr. Vedavyas. If you go to the GSDS website, or if you go to mygov.in, or even if you come to Rajagiri website where you have the Malayalam course PDF uploaded, you may be able to access these course files. And today, definitely, this is such a novel venture, and a big round of applause should go to Dr. Preeti, Dr. Lata, and the entire student team who have been in the forefront organizing this. So wishing you all the very best, and offering all possible support in future endeavors as well. I would like to, I'd like to call it a day from my side. Thank you so much for inviting me and providing me an opportunity to be a part of this venture. Thank you so much, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Lata Iyer is the coordinator of the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center and the head of the Department of English and Center for Research at St. Teresa's College. I invite ma'am to offer her felicitation.
Good afternoon to all. I offer my pranams to all the distinguished guests who are there. I would begin with a short prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvina Vadhinamastu Ma Vidushavahe. May the divine God protect us together. May it nourish us together. May we work together, uniting our strength for the good of humanity. May our learning be luminous and purposeful. May there never be a conflict of interest between us. May there be peace, peace, and perfect peace. I'm really indebted to God Almighty and to my institution for giving me a chance to serve my students and all those who are connected with me by providing an opportunity to connect with Gandhian Studies, Peace and Nonviolence Center. My first encounter with Gandhiji or Bapu was through my grandfather, K. Ramakrishna Pilla, who was a freedom fighter. I remember the stories that he used to tell us about his experiences during the freedom struggle. He was a fresh 23-year-old who graduated from Banaras Hindu University and decided to go to Sabarmati to be with Bapu. There were so many stories that made us see Gandhi in a totally different perspective. He was a Gandhian who, I think, who always believed in non-violence in communication. He wore the khadi, and he used charka. That was always a practice that was followed in our household. I think I was disengaged for a long time from Gandhian principles, but maybe it is a strange fate that there was a realization somehow not to engage in verbal non-violence. But I was little shocked when sister said that even a thought becomes a non-violent thought, goes against the practice of non-violence. To all the distinguished members who are here, the center will definitely live up to your expectations. And I think this is a practice that through which we will embrace the essence of Gandhiji. Non-violence, as he said, is opening to the existence, freedom, and development of every human being. Lakshmi Das sir, who is a senior Gandhian, has given us a guidance that to enable or facilitate our students to think critically about Gandhian ideologies. We would definitely take it up, sir, and I assure you, we will stand for the community who need us and who need our service. And Vedavyas Kunduza, you have been a source of inspiration, and you have your life, or looking at your life, has made us realize doing what you love is freedom and loving what you do is happiness. And I also thank Deepankar Sri Gyan, who has donated his time for us. And my dear teachers and students, we need to understand the lives of our distinguished guests embody the same principle of Bapuji. They have dedicated their life for a noble cause, and that draws our attention to another perspective of a leader. Bapu, who showed us that there is another vision of the world, that is Mithya, and there is the truth about the world, that is Satya, which gives you a profound mindfulness and makes you conscious of the fact that you are nothing and you have nothing. Gandhiji always worked with this, keeping this mindfulness. And as a true leader, he made us see things differently. And that is why he was able to touch many lives, crossing barriers, and brought in transformation. So non-violence, of course, is a choice of a way of thinking and acting, which is not oppression or destruction of any living being, especially humans. And I'm reminded of Jesus, who expounded the same philosophy of life. When the storm raged, when the ship was about to sink, the disciples asked Christ the same question. Don't you care if we drown? He asked, or he replied in the same manner. Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? So Gandhiji, like that, braved all the storms as he believed that individual acts according to the criteria of this profound consciousness that can create value and find something that is worth more than material existence and traditional spirituality. It is the elevation of our soul towards God or that universal power. For Mahatma, we as individuals have to open all human beings to all people, even to the things. In some way, he wished that society, the church, other establishments, and traditions were opened up to a dimension of freedom, and it should remain as a gift to all. He enunciated the greatest philosophy of life, that your beliefs should become your thoughts should become your words should become your actions should become your habits should become your values, and then your values would become your destiny. It would definitely shape your destiny. Let us pledge together on this special day. We will devote our life to non-violence and embrace Gandhian way of life and pledge for non-violence in communication as our literacy practice. Let us transform the desert of our pain into a beautiful garden of fruitfulness. Receive from our Bapu the poise of a balanced, unhurried mind that knows the will of our Master Creator. I'm sure, my dear children, my dear colleagues, we will free ourselves to be in harmony with your world. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. As we come to the close of the inauguration ceremony, I invite Dr. Preeti Kumar, Coordinator of the Gandhian Peace and Nonviolence Studies Center and an Associate Professor at the Department of English and Center for Research at St. Teresa's College, to convey her gratitude.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege to be associated with and to propose the vote of thanks for as worthy an undertaking as this. When our provincial superior and manager linked Mahatma Gandhi to the teachings of the Bible, some of us at least would have remembered the words of Lord Mountbatten, who stated that Gandhi will go down in history on par with Christ and the Buddha. As teachers, we spend hours teaching the curriculum, guiding co-curricular and extracurricular activities, but we so rarely have time to direct young minds to ideals that should serve as ethical guides in life. We give them a few moral lessons that we rarely practice ourselves. That itself renders it ineffective. Therefore, this Gandhian Studies Center, which promotes the principles that were put into practice by the greatest son of our country, one of the greatest men of the 20th century, is very, very significant. In this, I place on record our thanks and appreciation, one to our guest of honor, Sri Dipankar Sri Gyan, the director of the Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, for his address. Thank you, sir, for reiterating the importance of controlling the violent impulse that exists in all of us, and also for the good wishes that you have extended to our center. A special thanks to our chief guest, Sri Lakshmi Das, Chairman of the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, for the radical message of the importance of debate and dialogue. As you said, it is a forgotten aspect of the Mahatma that he encouraged differences of opinion. He never silenced dissent, and he was willing to make changes as his convictions altered. Thank you for reminding us to go beyond mere lip service and to make a critical study of Gandhian ideology. I thank Dr. Veda Vyas Kundu, a program officer of the Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti, for his help in setting up the center, for guiding us through the process, and for emphasizing the importance of academic and practical activities to promote transformational knowledge. We assure you that our students will take up the varied activities outlined by you and as envisaged by them. We thank our Provincial Superior and Manager, Reverend Dr. Sister Vinita, and our Principal, Dr. Lissy Matthew, for always supporting us and for encouraging every new initiative. A special word to Anand Krishnamurthy, a friend of our department, for his felicitation and for introducing the audience, to the audience the courses offered by the center. I must record the gratitude of our department to our head, Dr. Lata Nair, whose enthusiasm brought this program and this center to fruition. Thank you to all the faculty members and students who are present here to make this program significant, and to the students, Maxlin, Junekha, Anna, Merid, Punya, Snigdha, and Hritika, who contributed to the function. It is your enterprise and those of your peers that will take the center further. And finally, with the gratitude to God for making this day and this center possible, I thank you all once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I would like to place on record an invisible presence who contributed much in designing this beautiful brochure, and that is my young friend and colleague, Junie Thomas. I just don't know whether she is still here, but hours of slogging, hours of designing is which made the brochure very appealing. Thank you, Junie, for being with us in this journey. Junie, can you make yourself visible so that Gundu sir also will be able to see you?
Yeah. Sure.
She is
hi, namaste.
Hello,
Hi.
namaste.
Namaste. Yeah, it's been an honor to be a part of this journey. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, sir. And let me also thank all the department heads and the students from the various departments who were here to support this course. Thank you, Lakshmi Das, sir. We will keep in mind whatever your suggestions are. It is an honor to meet you. And Gyanji, thank you so much for providing us all this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. We will remain in touch.